Personally, I don't think Reason has been getting any real good push from his label.
I don't really see what Top Dog sees in this.
This was the first time I've seen like real TDE pushback. I had a release party, nobody showed up from the label.
Back in the early 2010s, Top Dog Entertainment was
So first of all, before we dive straight into the video, let me just introduce myself. My name is KJ. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the like button. Right now, we're looking at a general topic of perhaps that there's some pushback for a reason that he's not getting his stuff put out and that there's a little bit conflict. We're about to see what's all this about. I did notice that he was on a Joe Budden podcast before, and he talked about he had a little bit of like, you know, disagreement with his label and how they're not trying to push his stuff out when he wants to get it pushed out, and that is out of his control, and it's just based on, you know, the label perspective on if they're ready or not, and they feel like the artist has a project that's suitable for them to push out and market. And so we're just gonna see and dive right into it and see what this video is about. But it's about how one rapper destroyed the hip hop's favorite label, and I don't know if he truly destroyed it. We gotta see what they get into.
dominating hip-hop. Somehow, this small homegrown label from Carson, California managed to guide artists who were absolute nobodies to performing in venues like this. However, the label has been under fire in recent years. Many claim that they have fallen off, hate their fans, and or simply do not treat their artists with respect.
Whoa.
A ton of events caused this shift to happen, but it all began with the addition of one specific rapper to the roster, and that rapper is Reason. Hi, I'm Luesta. I make weekly video documentaries of things I'm into, so subscribe if you...
Skip that part and just get right into it.
Whether it's the insane, heartfelt story of Kendrick Lamar's come up from the treacherous city of Compton, California,
Uncles that raised me in Compton ask me what I have accomplished. I don't know, I don't have conscience.
the genius behind Absol's lyrical content,
I'm the bomb. That's like C4 on the seafloor. Fuck with AB, you can see more. As soon as I touch this money, I'ma act a Eeyore.
or the southern groove of Isaiah Rashad. One
Yeah,
thing
I
that's
love the
certain is
groove.
that Top Dog Entertainment was a label that had something for everyone. Despite the fact that each artist brought something different to the table and clearly shared a familial bond that seemed like it could never be broken.
Schoolboy Q, he gonna eat. Kendrick Lamar.
Well, I just feel like this is my rebuttal back to like what he's talking about is I think that just in general, all these people in their lives have getting older. They have kids, they have family outside of just a label, and they all eat it pretty good. And everyone's lifestyle has changed, and just the perspective is different, and they outgrow each other in some forms. I'm sure they all love each other still, and they still are in link, but it's just everyone's living a different life. And their priorities has changed. You know, it's not gonna be forever the same thing. This is my thing. You're gonna outgrow in some relationships. Doesn't mean that the relationship just cut off, but it just means that the prioritization of your attention in those relationships might slow down, and it probably be focused on other things, other avenues, businesses, other connections, other relationships, your family, and such. And so I just think that these people in general have given as much of a legacy as they possibly can. And it would be selfish for us to say that they should stay the same and be TDE. You gotta evolve.
He gonna eat. TDE, eat.
However, these days, TDE is only a shell of what it used to be. For example, between 2016 and 2017, they released 9 high-quality projects in the span of just 15 months, all of which performed extremely well. However, ever since then, they dropped about 10 projects in total, most of which were deemed some of the worst releases in terms of how the album sold.
Yo, where's the music? Can we get a single? Can we get anything?
In a Reddit post discussing TDE's fall off in March 2022, one user wrote, "TDE has officially died for me. I used to be a TDE stan, but one can only
Okay, this is another thing. I have a bone to pick, and I have like such disagreements with like people who claim to be fans. If you're fans of a person's music or even a label's music, just because they don't drop music as frequently as they used to, or the quality that you deem as far as what you loved, doesn't mean that you stop being a fan. Like, they still have those older classics and albums that they have dropped. It's only in hip hop where we stop becoming a fan because of we're not getting the same quantity and quality that we used to get from these certain artists. There's one thing where you can critique an artist or a label and says, hey, y'all don't own your stuff. But to say that you're not a fan anymore because in a few years they haven't dropped the type of standards that you want is not fair. And it's like, it's only in the hip hop community when we do this. And it's so stupid, man. It's like, yo, give these guys a break. These people, they have families now. They feeding other people. They don't, music is not just their only living thing. Like these guys, when they came in, they was hungry. They wanted to make this as a career because that was the only way to get out the hood. So you got to look at these perspectives. These people not going to tell you that because they're not always on the internet 24/7 trying to defend themselves. They'll go crazy. But no, it's just one of those things just so stupid. Like you opinion is your own. You're not a fan. Okay, you're not a fan, but are you really a fan? Because if you're really a fan, you wouldn't sit there and just like say, oh, I'm not a fan anymore because they didn't drop the album that I wanted within 3, 5, 8 years. Okay.
Starve so much before they find a different food source. The statement was backed by another comment reading, Kendrick hasn't dropped in 5 years. Absol hasn't put out an album in 6 years. J-Rock hasn't dropped in 4 years. Schoolboy Q hasn't dropped in 3 years. What the f is going on over there? Not only has the lack of output been an obvious problem from the label over the last few years,
I think that is also just dealing with when you're getting bigger artists and it's growing, that like typically it's really just been contracts and re-signing and negotiations and dealing with clearances. And, you know, like the industry is really huge and it's not just a press the button. They can say, oh, we're going to drop this video. We're going to drop this music. We're going to have it for this specific date. Like, as you can see from Drake's album previously that he just now dropped, that he postponed his project like 2 or 3 times, and that's just due to a lot of people going touring, a lot of people are doing other things and dealing with legal things that they have to get things clear and push before they start putting it out. So you know, you just never know what they can be, but we can't just typically assume that it's just bad stuff always going on and label why they're not dropping music. It's just it's a lot of business that it has to go on behind making music. And I feel like we shouldn't really speak on it unless we understand the business side of the music industry.
But TDE has been doing a terrible job at the one thing they were idolized for doing, which is onboarding new talent. At first, the label CEO Anthony Top Dog Tiffith, along with the president's Punch and Day Free, not only had an amazing ear for finding talent, but they were also able to provide a specific type of guidance and mentorship that was needed for an artist who had little to no fan base at all, to exploding them into superstardom. This is a skill that some of the biggest labels in the world would dream of having, especially after it was recently reported that record labels are having a difficult time breaking new artists. Nobody knows how to break music right now, a senior executive said. I think they're all lost. Sadly, as time passed on, TDE couldn't escape this trend either.
You know, and that's just because we're transitioning into content creation era and not just music creation era, right? Like, as you can see, like a lot of artists are going over to Kai Kaisenet streams and 80 Raw streams, and they're transitioning over there to get their music push, their music advertised, and also as a rollout for their projects. That's just pretty much what it is. You know, I don't think it's something to be concerned, worried about. I just think that, like, as you can see, labels are always gonna take a long time to get on the train and seeing what's going on. They're gonna eventually figure this out within the next year or so. And then once they do, they'll start being to get the right artists out there. I also feel like we're just moving into a point in time where music is moving so fast, and as well as content creation is moving so fast, that independent artists are able to take control of that and be able to use it to their advantage, and the labels are not able to keep up. And that's what we're seeing here.
Their new artists just couldn't shine as brightly as the superstars they once brought on board. However, can one make the claim that it's TDE's fault for this happening? Let's take a deeper look.
All right, we're about to get into the juicy part. The reason for the TDE's downfall.
In 2018,
I like how you played that.
It was revealed that TDE introduced another new rapper to their roster by the name of Reason, and it ended up being a complete disaster. He was discovered by Top Dog's son Musa and introduced him to Top after attending Reason's local concert. Now, it seems like Musa orchestrated both the beginning and the end for Reason. and you'll see why later in this video. After only 1 year of signing, reports surfaced claiming that the label's former president, Dave Free, didn't want to sign him in the first place. Despite this, a lot of fans were still extremely excited to hear Reason's new music, and they started out on a good run, rolling out songs like The Soul.
Don't ever think they love you, that's some great advice. So if you ain't used to pay attention, gotta pay the price. Shit, just a year ago, I was hating life.
And Better Days that also went crazy.
Cause clown Drake for being so sentimental. They see the same over every instrumental.
Then following this up with his debut project, There You Have It, which also did really well. To put it simply, the fans in TDE were rocking with Reason at first. But the more that time passed, he just became a huge subject of controversy. While everyone can agree that he was a rapper with massive potential, problems began to emerge when fans began to realize that he just wasn't that good, at least when you compared him to the artists they signed before.
Okay. And this is another thing that I have a very conflict of just disagreement with. Fans don't know what they're talking about. You just enjoy music, you enjoy music. And once again, you have your own ways of what you believe as your belief as far as an artist and their music, whatever. Like you have your own comments, whatever. But like I think that the narrative is everyone has control of what to say in their own words. And I feel like you're just gonna critique and say anything that they want to say just to get a reaction or just to stir up controversy. As you can see, I've noticed a lot of hate train going on in comments, even on YouTube, where people are just very negative and just cynical. And I'm not saying that it should be all rainbows and daisies, but people just don't know what they want these days. And because they are getting overstimulated with so much content, they don't know what quality of content is or quality of music is anymore, because you're just giving thrown at so much stuff to you. And so I just feel like people are just never going to be satisfied and just really need to take a break. Get off the internet. Like get off the internet and get off everything. Log off. Go walk on the trail or in the nature. Go camping or something. Get your ass off the social media platforms.
Reason is a decent MC. One of the most average albums.
But you know what? I'll give my intake real quick before I play this. I'm gonna play a few more minutes of this and then I'm gonna wrap the video up. If you wanna go and see this guy channel, I'll shout it out so you can go see it to watch the full video. But I got a theory. I think that Reason should go over to Dreamville. I think that the way how he is and his chemistry, since I seen him when he was in that Dreamville writing section and they was all collaborating for that Dreamville mixtape album collaborate where he had everybody come there in Atlanta and they all was writing music. You can just see that he's built a lot of relationships over there. He's also got a lot of chemistry. I just think that it makes sense for him to do that. Like after his contract is up, like go over to Dreamville. Like I think that he really fits well over there to Dreamville.
I've heard in a long time. Reason left me a little bored here. To cut Reason some slack, this was the first rapper they signed since Isaiah Rashad back in 2013.
That's not fair. You can't. He's coming after Isaiah Rashad. Like you can't. Like that's not even fair, bro. That's not fair. That's like big brother and little brother. Like he just coming in the game. Like yeah, he's already like really good with his lyrics and all that, and he's like, you know, he's a grown man. He's doing his thing. He holding his own weight. But you can't really compare Isaiah Rashad to Reason. Like that ain't fair, bro. Oh, come on.
Setting a pretty high standard for the aspiring 28-year-old rapper at the time. Being that it was rare that any rapper would ever be introduced to their roster, it was definitely going to take some time for fans to be accustomed with Reason's presence on TDE, as well as any new artist they onboarded in general. Of course, there was a core audience who was interested in his music, but it was clear that he wasn't receiving the type of hype as his contemporaries once had. Reason described his experience of being onboarded as feeling like an adopted child coming into a big family. And like the saying goes, it's best to not mix family with business, as things seemingly only continued to get worse as the years went by. And Reason had trouble proving to fans that he deserved a spot on the team. But is Reason really that bad of an artist? Or has TDE been doing a poor job at promoting him?
That's a good way to end it off as a segment. Like if you want to see the juicy side of what this guy has to say, I'm gonna shout it out. Let me see. Let's see what his shout out is. I know he said it already. Right there, that guy right there, Louisiana, that's his name right there. I'll probably put the link of his channel also inside the bio so you can go check out the rest of the video. Phenomenal video. I just gave my thoughts of what I think. I think truly that number one reason they need to get out that label. Like you should go to Dreamville, get in the Dreamville label. Your work ethic, your chemistry that you work, how you work, fits great over there for that type of camp. Where you can still keep your authenticity, and also, yeah, I think that there's more to it. Like it's business. There's legal things that they have to do with clearing. And then also I I wouldn't doubt that they have a lot of disagreements and some conflict over there. Uh, Labels are not perfect, and we see this from many labels that's just kind of like how it is. You deal with bullshit inside the labels, and there's perks to it as well. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this, man, hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. This your boy KJ. I'll be dropping more videos soon. Peace.